In this video, we will see economic load dispatch using genetic algorithm. For this project, we are considering the 6-unit test system. The data for the 6 units has been derived from this research paper. For each unit, the cost coefficients and the maximum minimum generation limits are taken. As it can be seen, this is for the unit 1 and this is for the other 5 units. These are the cost coefficients and these are the maximum and minimum generation limits, and the loss coefficient matrix is taken. So we are considering the case for generation losses as well for dispatching. Now going into the coding, we start with clearing the command window, clearing the workspace variables, and closing any open figures using these 3 commands. Then when we move on to the most important part of our optimization problem, that is defining the problem. So first we have defined the objective function. Here we have created a function handle obj function, and this is the name of our objective function cost fcn2. The purpose of creating the function handle is that whenever we want to pass any parameters in the objective function, we will pass into this function handle obj function, and these parameters would directly go into this objective function file by the name of cost fcn2. We have made a separate file by the name of cost fcn2. This is the file. So the parameters will be passed in this file. Here p is the parameter that would be passing into the objective function file. P would actually be a row vector which would contain 6 elements, and those 6 elements are actually the generation of the 6 generating units which we are trying to optimize in order to minimize the cost. Then nvar is the number of variable which is equal to 6 because we have 6 units. Varmin and varmax are the minimum and maximum values of variables. Then we have defined the parameters of genetic algorithm. Maximum iteration we have taken as 1000. The population size is taken as 500. Crossover probability and mutation probability are 0.9 and 0.2. And there are 2 or more parameters, that is distribution index for crossover and distribution index for mutation. Both are taken as 20. Since we are using the real coded version of genetic algorithm, so we require the distribution indices for crossover and mutation. We will see later how do we do the crossover and mutation in real coded version of GA. Now for initialization phase, we have initialized a fitness column vector and an offspring fitness column vector. Both these vectors have the dimension of npop cross 1, that is npop is 500, so the dimension is 500 cross 1. So both these are column vectors of 500 elements. We have initialized as not a number both these column vectors. Then we will find, or we will calculate the fitness by passing the individuals into the objective function. The value will get updated in these column vectors. Then we have initialized the population. For that we have used a for loop that will run nvar, that is 6 times. That is, for each generator we are considering one iteration of this loop, and we are doing it for each member of the population. So this pop would be a matrix of 500 rows and 6 columns. So what we are doing is varmin plus varmax minus varmin into a random number. So let us see. Suppose that I have a generator which has maximum minimum limits of 10 and 120. Now I want to generate a number which is between 10 and 120. So I can do it by writing like this: 10 plus the total space between the maximum minimum limits would be the difference of these two numbers. So 120 minus 10, and we multiply this with a random number, let's say r. This r would be between 0 and 1. This would be a random number between 0 and 1. So when we multiply this random number with this length, this would ensure that this value, this whole value, is always less than the actual space between the maximum minimum limits. And when we add this to the lower limit, we will definitely get a number which is between lower limit and upper limit. So let's say that this r value is 0.1. So this would be 110 into 0.1. This would become 11, this value. When this 11 is added to 10, that is the lower limit, we get 21, and this 21 is between upper and lower limits. In this way we can initialize the population, that is, we can initialize the values for other individuals of population and for each generator as well, because each individual in the population would represent a potential solution, and a potential solution is a potential value of generation of the 6 generators. So that's what we are doing here in this for loop. Also, this random number is not a single number, but it is also a column vector of dimension n pop cross 1, that is 500 cross 1. So this is a column vector of random numbers 500. In fact, this is a column vector of 500 random numbers, and the length, that is for each iteration of the loop, the space between maximum minimum value is multiplied with each of the members of column vectors, and this is added to the lower bound to give the value for that particular generating unit for all the population individuals. So in the first iteration of this loop, it would create a column vector of 500 individuals whose value would lie between maximum and minimum limits of first generator generation. In the second iteration of this loop, it would create a column vector, or we can say it would add another column vector to the previous column vector, which would have values between the maximum minimum generation limits of second generating units. In the third iteration of the loop, it would add a column vector to the previous two columns. Now this third column vector would contain the values between maximum minimum limits of generation of third generating unit and so on. Then fitness evaluation. Each of the individuals of population is passed into the objective function, that is each row of this pop matrix would represent an individual and each row is separately passed into the objective function, and the value returned by the objective function would be the fitness. So here we are updating the row of fitness, row of fit column by passing the individuals from pop matrix, that is passing the rows of pop matrix into the objective function using the for loop. Now going into the main loop of GA, we roughly have three steps: selection, crossover, and mutation. And then population combining and sorting is done to enhance our results. So first, tournament selection. For tournament selection, the selection actually can be done in several ways. Two predominant ways of doing selection are tournament selection and roulette wheel selection. For this, we are considering the tournament selection. So what happens in tournament selection is that an individual, in fact two individuals at random are chosen, and competition is held between those two individuals, and the individuals that wins between those two individuals is selected as parent, and each individual in the population is given two chances, that is each individual would play two tournaments, and it can be selected in both the tournaments. It may be selected in one tournament or it may get selected in none of the tournaments depending on its fitness value. And the individuals that get selected are then put into the mating pool. One thing to note is that in mating pool, one individual may occur more than once. This would ensure that the individuals with the best fitness are occurring more than once within the mating pool, because in tournament selection or in roulette wheel selection, the probability of selection of individual with better fitness is higher. So we have initialized the mating pool column vector. Again, this would be a column vector of 500 elements, and we have initialized this column vector as not a number as well. We will update the mating pool when we process further. Now, after initializing the mating pool, we just randomly shuffle the individuals in the pop matrix. We do this because we want to bring in the randomness. Since we are doing the tournament selection, we do not want consecutive individuals to play tournaments, so we randomly shuffle the individuals. Now if we say after shuffling that consecutive individuals play the tournament, that would actually mean that they are random individuals playing the tournament. What I mean by that is I am using this random function to randomly shuffle the individuals. First, let us see what this random function does. Let's suppose that I have numbers from 1 to 10. I want to randomly shuffle them, so I can write rand perm 10. Actually, it should have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But when I put this 10 in the random function, it would shuffle the individuals randomly. As you can see, 1, 5, 8, 4, 6, 9, 2, 3, 10, 7. So this has randomly shifted the individuals in any random order. This is random permutation. Now let's suppose, now let us see when this random is coupled with indexing, what it can do. So let's suppose that I have a vector 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. This is a row vector. Let's suppose that I have this row vector 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Now I want to randomly shuffle the individuals of this row vector. The number of individuals in this row vector are actually 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So what we can do is, since there are 10 individuals, we first create random permutation of 10. So this rand perm, let us store this in indx equals to rand perm 10. So this would create random permutation of 10 elements. Now when we pass this indx as index for this A vector, the individuals would be arranged according to the index given by this indx vector. Let's see what happens. A is equal to A, and we pass in this indx. What I am doing by this is I am saying arrange the individuals of A according to the index value given by this indx vector. As you can see here, first element in indx is 2, so it would take the second element as first element. So it has taken 20. The next number is 8, so it would take the 8th element, which is 80. Next number is 4, so it takes 40. Then 7th, so 7th element is 70. 10th element is 100. Finally, the last element is 50. So we have taken 50. So in this value, you can see the original A vector was this, but after using the randPerm function in index, this new A vector has all the elements randomly shuffled. Now, when we take these two consecutive values, this in shuffled, after shuffling they would be consecutive, but in reality they would be random selection, because 20 and 80 are not the first two elements, rather they are randomly selected. So in this way we can shuffle the rows of pop matrix. Since each row of pop matrix represents a potential solution, so when we shuffle the rows of the pop matrix and then select consecutive rows, after shuffling we are in a way selecting random rows, or we can say we are in a way selecting random individuals for playing a tournament between them, so that there is randomness in our approach, and we ensure that each individual gets a proper opportunity to get selected. Now, moving into the for loop, we will actually play with the indices. And in fact, not just indices, but randomly shuffled indices. This indx vector would actually contain the randomly shuffled indices. And when we use the elements of those indices for tournament, we will proceed further. So this for loop will run 1 less than n pop times, because for playing the tournament we are selecting pairs, individuals in pairs of 2. That is, for the first individual we will play a tournament with the next individual. Similarly, for the next individual we will play tournament for the with the next individual. So for I is equal to 1 to n pop minus 1 candidate, this candidate would be a row vector that would contain the indices for the individuals of pop matrix. So at the first iteration of loop, we are considering the first and second element of this I and dx vector. And remember, this I and dx vector actually stores the randomly shuffled indices. Okay, so this I and dx, I would be randomly shuffled index first, and this I and dx I plus 1 would be the next randomly shuffled index. That is, if we consider example like this, RANDPERM rand from 500. First I and dx I would be 200 and I and dx I plus 1 would be 89. So we are referring to the 212th row of pop matrix and the 89th row of pop matrix. Then candidate fit. In this, we are actually taking the fitness of the individuals represented by these two indices. So we are taking the fitness of, if we consider this particular scenario, we are taking the fitness of 212th and 89th individual. So we are passing candidate within the fit. This candidate itself is actually index, because this is the indices of the whole population of 500 elements in 500 individuals, but these are the just two indices of consecutive individuals after shuffling. And now we are passing these two indices in the fit column. So we are taking the fitness of the individuals represented by those indices and storing it in candidate fit. Then we find the minimum value among these two. The minimum is the fitness value, the better is the individual. So the individual which has less value of fit would be selected in this tournament between these two individuals. So we find the minimum of these two values, and we are simply taking the index. So there are two individuals and we are finding whether it is the first individual of candidate vector or the second individual who is the winner. So once we get the winner, we simply take the index. Using that index, we find the individual from the candidate vector and store that particular index in the meeting pool.